Okay, that's the key. Welcome back, everybody. I'm here once again with Ernst Wilhelm. We're going to be talking about a little bit different subject that's related to astrology. And this is going to be how to use playing cards, cards of truth, to understand yourself better, and learning how each of the cards can relate to the signs and the houses within the zodiac of your chart. So, Ernst, you're the master of all this, so you start out with whatever you think is appropriate.
So, cards of truth is what I call it. Out there, you'll usually see it called the destiny cards, which is what Robert Camp's school calls it. You also sometimes find it called Magi cards. People believe it comes from Egyptian, magicians, Magi, and so on. The roots of the system, really, honestly, we don't really know the roots of the system. They've been lost. But basically, everyone's familiar with tarot cards and casting cards and so on. Tarot cards are actually born out of playing cards. Playing cards are the older symbology. And it's the casting cards, whether you use the tarot deck or a playing card deck, pretty much the same thing.
Right.
And casting cards, of course, has been a very popular thing for a long time. But there's also another system of cards. Now, the reason I call my card work cards of truth is because the 52 cards in the playing card deck are a perfect book of knowledge. They're a perfect book of truth. They're actually a philosophical, spiritual book that's written not in a language of words and letters, but in a language of natural symbols and a language of numbers, which are also symbolic. So in the playing cards, we have like spades, which are trees. They're a natural symbol. Then we have hearts, which are the fruits on the trees. They're not a heart, actually. They're actually a strawberry or an apple, a fruit. Then we have the clubs, which are the leaves on the trees. And then we have the diamonds, the earth, the minerals. The minerals all grow in crystals, the crystals that make up the surface of the earth. And these are 4 symbols of nature that also symbolize everything in human life. And so it's a natural set of symbolism based on the cycle of a tree, which grows fruit and grows leaves and has rooted in the soil of the earth. And it is an astrological system. And so we can take this card symbology and, based on when a person was born, calculate a birth spread. So we literally have a spread of 13 cards, 14 cards for them. And those cards are ruled by different planets, by the sun, by the moon, by Mars. And based on where the planets are in the sky, the planets will fall in different cards. So it's an astrological system that uses a 12-fold division, just like the zodiac. But instead of using zodiac symbology, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, it uses the symbology of nature and numbers, the symbology of a tree, of fruit, a leaf, or the earth that the tree is on. And so it's an astrological system, but it's not a zodiacal system in the sense of Aries, Taurus, Gemini.
Do you mind if I show them on Kala real quick?
Yeah, show them on Kala for sure.
Okay. So here's Kala, which is astrological software. And you go to the screens menu and then down to cards of truth. And then this pulls up the spreads, correct?
Yeah. And so you can click on that. And so this would be like the birth spread for today, November 18th. Okay?
Well, this is for 2024, but okay.
Oh, that's for 2024. Okay. Yeah. But November 18th is always going to be a 2 of clubs.
Right.
But the planets will change their positions. So what we've got here, you can kind of show them the sun card and the moon card and the Mars card and so on.
Right.
So sun card.
Sun card.
Moon. Mars. Mercury. Jupiter. Venus. Saturn. So those are the 7 planetary cards. And each of those cards actually has a time period. Just like we have the 7 days of the week, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and that comes from Vedic astrology, of course. We have the sun, moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn. That's the order of the planets. That's also the order of the cards. It is actually 100% relationships, synchronized to Vedic astrology. In fact, this system sadly has been butchered to a great degree by Western astrological thought, who try to arrange the cards in a way that's not occultly, that has any occult meaning.
Mm-hmm.
Because in Western astrology, they don't have a lot of the occult understanding that Vedic astrology offers. They simply lost that. They've lost the order of the planets. Western astrology doesn't know that it's Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, Rahu, Ketu. That's the order of the planets. So they come up with a different order of the planets that is an astronomical order, but it's not an occultly significant order.
Mm-hmm. So
this system has benefited dramatically from Vedic astrology thought with the work that I've done on it.
Right, and you can. I was going to say, you can see here that you also have, looks like the Avashtas.
Yeah, we also have the Lajitati Avashtas in it.
Right.
And using the Lajitati Avashtas in the card system has actually helped me learn to use them much better with the Hindu astrology system.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've learned a lot from using them with the card system. I've enriched them and came to understand them more. Because we're still dealing with the same planets. We're still dealing with the same conscious entities of the planets that make us think things and make us the way they are. They don't change when you change systems.
Mm-hmm.
The sun is the sun in any system of astrology you use.
Mm-hmm.
If you do Mayan astrology, Chinese astrology, it doesn't matter. The sun is still the same thing. But we might call it, we might detail it in a different way. We might detail it as sun in Aries, or we might detail it as the sun in the Mars card in the Jack of Clubs.
Mm-hmm.
And the detail that the cards give, it's just so individualized. So like with the zodiac, we've got, say you've got your sun in Aries. Well, you know one thing about your sun, right? With the card system, if your sun's in Aries, it'll be in the Mars card. Now you know one thing about your sun, it's in the Mars card.
Mm-hmm.
But you also know it might be a 2 of diamond sun, or a 3 of diamond sun, or a 4 of diamond sun. And that will very much guide a person in how they use their sun.
So
every sun in Aries is going to be totally different, actually, because of the card it falls in.
Right.
So here we got the sun in the Mars card.
Right.
Which means it's in Scorpio now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's in the 4 of hearts. So this is a person who's going to fight for love. Because the sun's, you know, Aries are, you know, Mars, sun and Mars people, they're fiery and they have fight in them. And they're going to work towards things with all their ambition. The sun in the 4 of hearts person is going to apply that into the emotional realms.
Hmm.
So you can't tell that without the cards. You get this whole level of detail.
Right.
If it was the 4 of spades, the person would put all that energy into self-development, like yoga.
Mm-hmm.
This person, born on this random date, is going to put all that fiery, solar, committed energy into their family life.
Mm. Because it's in the 4 of hearts.
Yeah. Mine is I got sun in Aries, very fiery sun.
Uh-huh.
It's in the Jack of Clubs. I put all that fire into studying, which is the Jack of Clubs, and learning, which is the Jack of Clubs. Jacks are perpetual students, especially the Jack of Clubs. That's why I'm always learning. I never stop. Okay?
Well,
it's not even good.
you do think too much sometimes.
So you get this whole other level of very individualized detail that's so obvious to see. Like, it's easier to pick out a card in a person than it is to pick out a zodiac sign.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just such an obvious layer of who the person is and how they're working. So it's just such a great system to see to the most important things very quickly and easily.
Well, when you're looking at, for example, the Jack of Diamonds here being the moon card, so that's going to tell us, as the moon is here, that the moon is in Cancer, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then when we interpret the moon in a Jack of Diamonds kind of way, can you give us an example of, like, how would that play out? Because with the 4 parts, that makes sense, but Jack of Diamonds.
The Jack of Diamonds moon, just like in astrology, the moon is what you're used to, right? Mm-hmm. It's what you're comfortable with. And as a result, it's what makes you feel right about life. So you need that in your life as a constant thing. So the Jack of Diamonds is a very worldly creature. It's like the party animal. It's great with people. It loves to play with the things of the world. Jack of Diamonds really knows how to enjoy life.
And that's because the diamond...
A Jack of Diamonds can be 50 years old and have just as much fun at Disneyland as when they were 6.
Okay.
They really know how to enjoy the things that are there to enjoy in the world and have a lot of fun. So the moon in the Jack of Diamonds is going to be a person who really knows how to enjoy life. They're going to have fun with things. They'll tend to have some talents quite often.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe their fun will be in music, or their talent will be in music, but they'll have fun using their talents, and they'll just really know how to play. And lots of times Jack of Diamonds people are lucky. So they just get a life that affords a lot of room to play. So this person born with the moon in the Jack of Diamonds, they're going to grow up in an environment where they just get a lot of time to enjoy life. Their family is going to go on vacations. They're going to the family is going to take time out to be together and play with each other and just enjoy being in the world, which is what the Jack of Diamonds is just so good at.
That's because it's a diamond, right? That we have the worldly aspect to it.
The very material world. They're very good at enjoying the material things the world has to offer.
Okay.
And they're super intelligent. Diamonds have the most amazing minds, super fast minds, super great memories, but they don't have necessarily like vision and imagination the way like clubs do. Clubs have a lot of vision, and clubs are very philosophical. Diamonds have that sort of raw intelligence, that skillful intelligence, great memory, quick-minded.
Mm-hmm.
So their mind, there's like a skill. They'll have a high IQ. They'll get really good on tests, but they're not always going to be able to people who can find the solutions to things other than in their specialty.
Mm-hmm.
And diamonds, like always, they're very specialized people. They tend to be very good at one thing, and other things they don't really even care about getting involved with.
Right.
But the Jack of Diamonds, of all diamonds, is a diamond that is not so fixed. So he's really engages in everything really quickly, really well. But he has a hard time finding what he wants to stick to. So it's a bit of a playboy or playgirl card. And it makes a person have a hard time settling down to something, but having a good life.
And right. And so with these cards, what we're seeing here, just so people at home know, we're just taking the chart.
Yeah.
And we're finding what planet, what sign the planet is in.
Yeah.
And
so this chart, the moon would be in the moon card because it's in Cancer, ruled by the moon.
Uh-huh.
Jupiter would be in the Mercury card because it's in Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury, right?
Right.
But if there was a planet in Virgo, it would also be in the Mercury card.
Right. Okay.
And how this actually works, it basically puts the planets in the chakras they're in.
Mm. Right.
You know, Virgo and Gemini are the throat chakra.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically saying this planet's in your Mercury chakra. It doesn't care if it's ascending or descending, which the zodiac does. It has a positive and negative sign. And so the Sun and Rahu are both in the sign of Mars in this chart.
Mm-hmm.
They're both going to be in the Mars card in that chart.
Right. Okay, so when we pull that up, we're going to find just what you said.
Yep.
And the order of the cards are always going to be moving in this direction: Sun, Moon, Mars, like you described earlier.
Yes, and we actually every year is divided into 7 52-day periods in accordance with those cards.
Okay, and so if you
periods,
is for example, by being born on November 18th, is everyone who's born November 18th going to have this same spread?
Everyone will have the same spread who's born on November 18th after sunrise.
Okay.
So the day starts at sunrise.
Okay.
And not at midnight. Our calendar starts at midnight, but the card day starts at sunrise, just like in Vedic astrology.
Okay.
They'll have the same spread of cards, but their planets will be in different places.
Right. So the cards are the same, but what makes this more zeroed in for the individual is by taking the planetary information and overlaying them on the cards.
Yeah. It's kind of like, see, with astrology, every day the zodiac's the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that's different is where the planets and the house cusps are every day.
Right.
In the card system, the zodiac is the same every day. The planets and house cusps are in different places all the time. But also, we get the extra thing of a different card every day for every zodiac sign.
Okay.
So we get the whole nother layer of interpretation. And it's really a beautiful and useful layer of interpretation, mm-hmm. especially for making connections. So for instance, if you're running a 5 of diamonds year in your chart, like see in this chart where it says age 9?
Yes.
And see that little jack of clubs in the corner? Mm-hmm. Age 9, go to the left, 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 up. No. Yeah, see that? Okay,
All
stay in
right.
the middle chart. Now go up.
Age
Now go
9 quadration.
left,
Left.
left, more left.
There we go.
See that Jack of clubs?
Yes.
That means at 9 years old, this person's going to be a Jack of clubs. So let's say you're in a age that you get 5 of diamonds there. Then you're gonna find 5 of diamonds people come into your life that year.
Oh, okay.
So like on this kid, we could say, yeah, with the Jack of clubs, good chance your best friend or new person you meet in that year is going to have a Jack of clubs prominent in their spread or be a Jack of clubs person. So it gets this level of detail that's really useful. And that changes by 1 card every year.
Okay.
So at every age, you've got a particular card that's sort of more awake. And you'll track that and find that in your life more because that's the card you're developing that year.
So how come when it said age 9 first, and then I was clicking on the right, it was going down instead of, so for example, we started here.
Going backwards in their life. You need to go that way to go up in their life. Because it starts at birth. It's 1 click per year.
I see. Okay, I follow. All right, so then you can find in a year here using this particular aspect.
Yeah, and every year you get a whole new spread of cards too.
Right.
And every year the planets, we see where they are on your birthday every year.
Uh-huh.
And so all the planets change every year. So it's kind of like a Varshafala or solar return. Every year you get a whole new spread to study, to predict your events on.
Well, quick question. If someone's born on November 18th, does that mean that everyone born on November 18th when they're 18 years old will have this particular spread?
Yep.
That will be the same. Okay.
But they'll have, the planets will be in different places.
Right.
And the planets will be on different places too.
And every time you talk to me about this stuff, I always want to learn it. It seems so, you know, I remember reading the philosophy behind it about, you know, the different kinds of suits and the different numbers. And that just made so much sense by just reading that in and of itself.
Yeah. And really one of the best things about the system is the first part of the system is just learning the cards.
Right.
What's a 2 of clubs? That's connecting to knowledge. You know,
how hard is it to use these things though? I mean, so, you know, having a background.
It's easier than astrology.
Okay.
And the symbology of the cards is just so much clearer. It's just an easier symbology, I think. And one of the great advantages of it, once you learn the meaning of the cards, which is the foundation of using the astrology system, you also can cast cards. You can just be anywhere and someone can ask you a question. You can say, do you have a deck of cards?
Right.
And you can cast it. Or they say no, but you can walk into the drugstore, the gas station, Walmart, wherever, grab a deck of cards for $2 and do a reading anytime, anywhere, no electricity required, no birth time required. And you can just do a card casting reading. So I think if someone wants to do reading, it's just such a good system to know how to cast cards.
Well, for fun, you know, if I think about that and I imagine learning this system and doing the casting of cards, I mean, would it also make sense that if there's a question to be asked and I pull out a card and I see what that card is there a way to like match that up as well to say what's going on astrologically?
You got lots of times what will happen is, in fact, I pretty much say almost all the time when you get someone in and you start doing the card reading for them, a lot of the prominent cards that come up in their spread will be, as you cast them, will be prominent cards in their chart or prominent cards in their year, on that year spread you just showed us.
Okay.
So they will totally reflect each other. And so you really see the cards don't fall in random when you cast them.
Okay.
You know, you'll get, wait a minute, this is the card that I have as my year card this year. Wow, right. And this is the outcome of my question I just asked you, is the card that's my year card. It happens all the time. So it's really a magical system. And it'll blow your mind how the cards fall. Go ahead.
So there are particular spreads. Like, for example, if someone says, hey, let's do a session or whatever, and I go, all right, let me run to Walmart, and I get my cards, and I'm going to have learned, say, through is it cardsoftruth.com? Is that the website? Yeah. So cardsoftruth.com, where you've got classes, video classes, where I would learn, okay, here's a particular spread to use, or a particular way you lay them out, or is it just pick a card and see what that means? Okay.
Well, there's lots of ways to do it. One of the most simple ways is, as the person's talking to you, you can just pull a question. You can just pull a card out. And as they're talking to you, just interrupt them with that card and clear that up. That's one type of spread.
Right.
This particular card.
Like that whole deck of 9 of diamonds that I have in my pocket now.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that's what Ryan does when he wants to meet girls. You know, he'll like have his 9 of diamonds deck, and they'll say, I don't know if I should go out with you, and he'll pull a card. Oh, it's a 9 of diamonds. I'm a 9 of diamonds.
Right.
No, I'm just joking.
Yeah.
But now, so you don't want to have a stack deck.
I don't remember you predicting I don't remember you predicting a divorce in my wife's card reading that you did for her. So
no, but I did predict. I may have predicted that she was going to kick you in the nuts a couple times.
Maybe, yeah.
So
That's always
totally different things.
correct. It's always possible.
Always possible. So yes, that's one way. Just pull a card.
Okay.
And we call that spread to pull it. And sometimes it'll happen on accident. You'll be shuffling the cards and a card will fall out.
Right.
Okay, remember that card. It's going to be part of the answer.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's lots of spreads, and everyone kind of gravitates towards their more favorite spreads. There are spreads that are more suitable to certain kinds of questions. There's some spreads that are more suitable for doing life readings. So instead of, you can do a life reading on a person. Say, okay, let's just read your life with certain card spreads. Every card reader gravitates to different spreads. The most common spread in use these days by tarot readers is the Celtic Cross spread, they call it.
Right.
It's a 10-card spread. There's a lot of spreads I like using better. Mm-hmm. Playing card readers tend to use different spreads than the tarot readers. I just find spreads from wherever I can and use the ones I like. I teach a lot of them, but everyone needs to find the spreads that they like using. The one I use the most is the Light on the Star. And the reason I like it's a 7-card spread. I like it because one of the cards is what you should do in the situation. So I like to give advice, right?
Yes.
So there's one card that says this is what you need to be doing to make this work out as best as possible.
Right.
And that's always a card they're not doing enough of. Uh-huh. Otherwise, it wouldn't come up.
Right.
And that spread also will show one card is what's going against you. It's like the obstacle card. And it's so interesting. You'll see like that obstacle card might be a person. Oh, the obstacle is this card. And oh, you're still hung up on your old boyfriend who happens to be born under this card. And it's like the synchronicity is amazing. So you'll just say, you have any people in your life born on these days? And they're like, yeah, my old boyfriend.
Right.
Like, well, that's the problem. That's why you can't move on,
Well, speaking of you liking to get advice, I do want to clear up the 9 of diamonds deck that I have.
Yeah, okay.
It's not for the reasons that Ernst said. It's because Ernst and I sometimes talk about things, and while I most of the time agree with him, when I don't, all I do is pull up that card, and then he's quiet.
See, the reason that he does that, because the 9 of diamonds is the Fool.
Is what?
Is the Fool.
Oh, the Fool. Okay. Yeah.
So the Fool is somebody who knows the way things really are, but can't explain it.
Right.
And as astrologers, we're all fools. In fact, the 9 of diamonds, which is what the card Ryan's born under, and is where my ascendant in K2 falls. So me and Ryan both have a strong 9 of diamonds quality to us. So we like to joke about it a lot. Is that the 9 of diamonds is the card that knows something that can't be explained by the intellect. And so is the 9 of hearts. It also has that quality. And so in trying to explain what it knows, it says dumb things that make no sense. So when we're in a reading, we'll look at a chart and we know you're going to meet someone next year. And we'll say something stupid like, you're going to be in Venus, Mercury and meet someone next year. That's just something stupid we have used to explain it.
Right.
The 9 of diamonds and the 9 of hearts know already what's going to happen, but they don't even know that they know, and they need to find something to explain it. Mm-hmm. So everything they say ends up being stupid. That's an extreme example of that. I have another friend who's a 9 of diamonds. And one of her friends will meet a guy, and she'll go, what do you think about that guy? And she'll point to him across the room at the party. And my friend will look at the guy and she'll say, he's short. It's going to be horrible. Don't be with him.
And her reasoning is that he's short, but that's not really the real reason.
No, but she says it. She looks at him and she knows he's wrong. And then she finds something she's opinionated against and blames it on that.
Right.
And so what she says is completely foolish, right?
Right.
But she's right every time.
Well,
now, if her friend comes up and says, what about that guy? And he's the right guy. If he's short, if he's 2 foot tall, she won't say, no, he's short, stay away. She'll say something else stupid. Was that his Porsche? Yeah, he's good.
Right.
But so she'll use something good to explain the good things she knows, and she'll use something bad to explain the bad things she knows about things like that. That's what the fool does. He says dumb things. But the bottom line is what he's saying true. I knew another 9 of diamonds person that was walking behind a girl who just got married and said, she's got a scrawny ass and she's going to not be good with her children. And they're like, come on. What age do you live in? What age did you crawl out of where women were nothing, So no one listens to them, just as predicted.
Yeah. Well, and those are good points you bring up, in that when you know the year, or not the year, like your birth card, or you know how the cards work, well, then you gain a lot of greater self-understanding about yourself and also people around you,
Totally.
So, and
more refined fools like me and Ryan say foolish things that sound like wisdom. That actually makes sense. So we don't say, no, the guy won't work for you because he's short.
Right.
And we don't say she won't be a good mother because she got the skinny butt. Right. We say she's not going to be a good mother because she's got a Saturn Rahu Moon conjunction.
Right. Yeah, which sounds more enlightened, right?
But anyone who's a good astrologer oftentimes has a 9 of diamonds or 9 of hearts as a prominent feature. Yukteswar, who was known not as a guru but as an amazing astrologer who never had wrong predictions, was a 9 of diamonds.
Wow, somehow this turned into something I wasn't expecting. But anyway, well, we are getting close. We are getting close to the end of our time together, and I think we've covered a lot of good information.
Yeah. We had fun. There's some good info.
But is there anything else you'd like to share about the cards, or what you really find enjoyable about them?
I think between cards and astrology, that studying the cards is a better way to go.
Okay.
The reason is because people only have so much time. And astrology is just a bigger field. Cards, it's a much smaller defined field. The other reason too, astrology has so much stuff in it that you don't always need to look at.
Right.
Whereas with the cards, you can get right to the heart of the matter. Sure, a lot of things aren't going to be there, but what you really need to deal with is, and that makes it easier to use. Right. One of the hard things about astrology, there's so much stuff in the way of what you need to focus on. With the cards, it's just focus with this, with all your intelligence, and you're always going to do a great job. And also what I like about the cards, there's a wisdom to the occult that in understanding that wisdom, you can start living a better life right now.
Right.
That wisdom is hidden in astrology more so than it's hidden in the cards. In the cards, it's very part of learning the system, where you can learn how to make astrological predictions and never gain that wisdom
No, for sure.
Years and years.
Yeah.
So in studying the cards, you're going to become wiser quicker. You're going to be able to do readings quicker. And the other thing I like about the cards, in lots of ways, I prefer the system of card compatibility between people. You can do amazing compatibilities with the card system. And you can also just see in a much more detailed way how people are stimulating you based on what their card is. And you're, like I said, if you're running a 5 of diamonds year and you meet a 5 of diamonds person, you know, wow, I'm probably going to get to know this person better than other people this year.
Right.
Just because you need to learn about 5 of diamonds that year.
Right.
And any 5 of diamonds coming in is going to be important. And it's every year you have a new card. And you can say, okay, on this year I'm going to be on the lookout for these kind of people,
Right.
And you'll see those are the people you get.
Yeah.
So it's really fun, and the connections you can make with the people are much more interesting than you'll see just with an astrological chart.
Well, maybe sometime early next year we can also do a video on the compatibility with cards. I think that might be fun.
Sure. And I did something on with, there's a lot of different parts, but I did one part as an example with Brad Pitt and Angelina on my YouTube recently.
YouTube.com/Devaprajna. Was that it? Is that your
I
YouTube?
don't know. Just
Okay.
you can search me.
Okay, yeah. All right, and your website with all kinds of videos on how to learn about the cards, it's cardsoftruth.com, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we also have a separate $50 software that just does the card stuff.
All right.
So you don't have to buy the $250 Kala software. You can just use the card software that does this and a few other things, but it does all the card stuff, and it's just $50. So it's totally cheap.
It just looks like this? Is it the same kind of?
It just looks like this. It also has a few astrology things. It has like the astrology compatible screen from Kala.
Okay.
It does transit searches and a few other things. But all the other extreme Vedic astrology stuff has been removed, basically.
Okay. Well, what I'll do too is I'll go ahead and I'll put a link down below to that. Is it on your Vedic-astrology.net?
Same site.
Yeah, so we'll put it there, and also a link to your cards lessons. So,
Sure.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Ernst. It's been fun.
Okay, my pleasure. Take care.
Yeah. Take care.